Yes, so let's now hit into it. So back to it. Definitely, from beginning of the week, we are supposed to like have like an outlook and everything on what we are supposed to do and all that, what to expect. So for me, I used to like just come to like basically GU and EU. I trade just four major pairs. That's EU, GU, gold, and then BTC. But some days, when I don't see anything on the four of them, I come to USD JPY and GBP JPY to actually beg them if they can give me anything, and then also AUD USD and NZD USD. But then, those ones are not like my everyday or go to here and there pair. I just come to them when I need them. You get, maybe I'm not getting anything on GU and EU. So first thing first, yeah, for me for the week, I just come to like my daily time frame. So coming to this daily time frame, I want to first see if I can see an SMT. Now, like I said, SMT means smart money too. Now, is used to understand whether we're expecting like a buy push or a sell push on the market. But it works with two correlated pairs. You have to get two pairs that they correlate with each other. So, and for a very perfect example, GU and EU, they correlate perfectly. They always have like the same thing. So now, if we now want to like take a very sharp look at it, now you will see that GU and EU right here. Now this is GU currently, and let's look at EU. Now you can see that two of them too, they are basically on the same alignment. One has taken out a high, the other one has taken out a high too, and both looking sharp and bullish. So let's continue. Now, what is an SMT? What is SMT? Now, this is how SMT works. Now, SMT is like this. Now, you have the first pair taking out a high and then coming out to take out a low. So meaning that it has grabbed this buy side liquidity. Now, after grabbing it, now it goes back this thing up. So this is what we expect for the first pair. Now, for the second one, that will actually make us have a valid SMT. Now, that one has to come like this. Now, there's a low. It goes up. But then, this time around, this low is not taken out. Now, it comes back to go back up from there. Now, once I'm able to spot something like this on two pairs that correlate, once I'm able to spot something like this on two pairs that correlate, then it means that I have a valid SMT. But then, if the two of them are more like this, like, okay, the two of them are taking out lows, yeah, at this particular instance now, I don't have any valid SMT from me again. So all I need to do is look for something else or wait for that week to open before I now start having any defined movements. You get. So now since but once I can see this on those two correlated pairs, and I know that okay, fine and good, there's an SMT available for me. So let's now hit into it. Now going deep into it, now we need to like go look at the charts. Now me, I prefer to spot my own SMT on daily time frame. But if you want to apply it on day to day by using maybe 1 hour, 4 hours, you can also go ahead. But me, I just prefer the daily time frame usage. Now that one is quite better for me. So let's make this a full screen. Yeah, so that one is far much preferable for me. So now let's hit into it. This is GU. Now this GU now, I want to first see what happened. Now you can see that this was the low that we had before. This is the previous low that we had, and market has now taken it out by grabbing liquidity. So we've grabbed liquidity, and when it took it out, you can see that it started to push back up. Now the same thing that we had before, right there on SMT. Now we've seen GU's own. Okay, I think I've deleted them already. Let me draw it back. Taking this out and then going back up. Then the other one is this, comes in, this thing takes this out, it doesn't take out the low, and then probably ready to go back this thing up. So now we've seen this one for GU already. So we need to now head down to EU to see the next one. Now coming down to EU, now we can see that the previous low on EU, that wasn't taken out. Now this is the previous low on EU is definitely this. Now this is the previous low. Now you can see that I didn't take it out. It reversed immediately. So meaning that okay, this one too is showing us a valid SMT. Now for me now to like use price action and actually see maybe did this market reverse from a very good SMC zone. Now I can see that okay, it bounced off a fair value gap. Now the fair value gap was from here to this place. Now you can see that I can see that the same bounced off a fair value gap. So meaning that yes, smart money, institutions, they know what they are doing. Then there's a value reason why this market, and they're now applying divergence SMT, that smart money to which is looking for the divergence, applying that to it. Now I can also see that okay, fine and good. It's giving me what I want. So meaning that this market is what this market is actually going to what is going to go bullish from next week. Apart from any news shenanigans or any Donald Trump nonsense, this market is expected to what to be a bullish movement. Now, having now seen these two, let's now go back to GU. Now, for me, now going back to this GU, that is when I now come and start playing and now start doing my analysis as a normal SMC / alchemist trader, MSNR. If you know about that one too. Then now, before I said something, I said if you want to apply candle range theory to this market too, you can. If I apply that, I can also see that this market is also headed for a bullish movement. Now, this is the main candle that I'm looking at. This big bullish candle here. Now that's the high, and that's the low here. Now, candle range theory can be a combination of just 2 candles or 3 candles, depending on what you like. Some people use 2 candles, some people use 3 candles. Now, on this particular chart right here, I will agree that we will make use of 3 candles. Now, this was the first one, which is the main candle. Now, this one is the second one, and this is the third one. Now, what happens on CRT, like I said, is this. Now, CRT is always a combination of one very large candle. Now, that large candle is giving you the candle range high and candle range low. Now, the second candle, you expect it to break it. Now, once it breaks it, it comes back into it. Now, once it has come back into it, now it means that sellers pushed down, but they were not able to continue with that pressure. So they came back in. So meaning that, okay, market is ready to go bullish. Now, of course, sometimes you can wait for another one to form, and that one should bring out a bullish candle. Then you now find either you go from the open close of that one, or you go from the triangle, or from the V shape itself to move. You get. But then for the 3 candle formation, this is it. Now the three is it. Now let's say this particular second one actually came in. Now he went down, then now came back to create a wick. Sorry, I don't have like how to like define this, but then I believe you understand from my explanation. So now he came back to create a wick, but then after creating that wick, he really didn't come back inside. But then this was how we did. So now the third candle will now come, which is what we have on this G here, which is this bullish candle that we have here, the blue one. Now it now comes in. Now this one will now go down to wick. After wicking, it comes back up towards. Sometimes it can take out this one, or it might not take it out. But then the main thing is for it to close bullish. Now after it has closed that bullish, now what you will now do is you can now start taking your entries from the support that is right here. So now you just do, once the next candle comes inside here, you take it, and you want to take out this candle here, which is our candle range high itself. So having done that, then of course you already applied candle range theory to it. But then this is not my day-to-day entry model. No, what I do is simple SMC. I just apply it, get my zones, and I move. Now, so now let's put that one aside. Back to SMT that we used to understand where we're headed to for the 2 pairs. Now, what the next thing that I want to do is I want to confirm this low here. You know, this one will now become my new low of interest for the new week. So now this is last week low, and then this is overall last week high. Now the overall high we have for last week is this. This is just a high for the candle range. Now this is overall last week high. So me now, definitely going back to my type of chart. Now I want to use my line chart to understand if we had any valid zone. Now for me as an MSNR trader, I prefer to use this place here as my entry model, which is the last support. Now coming back to the candlestick chart, now I can see that okay, fine and good. This is right here. Now, but then one thing is this: markets can decide to flip this place. Now it might decide to leave it. Now, what do I now do? Now I want to put my entry at the open and close. That's OC. For MSNR traders, yeah, we classify the OC2 as a valid key level because that is where this in a particular candle opened, and that's where another one closed. So we classify it as a valid key level to be able to either reverse the market or continue or something. You get, so depending on what you are looking for. So now for me on daily time frame, I can now say that okay, yes, I want to take from this OC just in case the market doesn't come back to this last support that we have here, which is this place. But then if I now want to put my SL, I'll make sure that my SL at least comes below it. But then having now had that in mind, we need to now go lower to probably 4 hours or 2 hours. But me, most times when I'm starting my week, I prefer to just use 4 hours or sometimes 2 hours. But then I don't go less than that. So let me just use 4 hours, get my SL on 4 hours, and everything is all done and settled. So back to 4 hours. Now we can see that there is already a QMR right here. That there's a QMR on 4 hours, exactly on where our daily OC was marked. Now, what's the QMR? Now, a QMR is we call it a Cosmundo reversal. It's something like this. Now, let's say market is doing this. We've come down and then we went up. Now, after coming, the market now went lower to flip this. Then is now gone up. Sometimes some traders will call it a reclaimed OB. Most people will call it a QMR, but then we now expect market to come back. Then when market is coming back, it will not get to this order block anymore. You will just use this one and then go back up. So once he uses this one, then it will just continue to go. So that is what I'm also expecting. Now, for the fact that on MSN now, somebody can tell you that, okay, online charts, yes, this place has been used already. But then why may I believe it has not been used is because this movement here didn't take out this high. This is movement that took you. So I believe that we'll still come back again to have another touch. So since I've seen that on my H4, remember, your line chart is also very, very useful because that is where you will see everything clearly. Forget all this candlestick week and all those things. Now, since I've seen that, now what I'll just go ahead and do is list my buy from here, then targeting the same high. It is this same high that I'm targeting by God's grace. So the thing must surely get there. So, and then I have my entry right here. Then for my SL, for conservative traders, you can decide to have your SL below this week right here. Fine and good. But for me, I don't see markets coming there. Since I'm using the QMR for my entry, I can put my own SL around this place, which is even still too low. Because on a normal day, my SL has no business in that place. I just want to put it inside there. But then to be conservative, a 1:4 is not bad. You can have it right here. And then once market open, we expect that it should reverse, come into this place, and then take us back to this TP and even break this high completely. So, but then for normal price action traders, yeah, you can still have this place in mind. This place here looks to be a place where orders are kept. So for me, once I see zones like that, I just put an IMOG there and then just know that, okay, I'm looking at it. So when markets get here, it's not as if I'm closing my trade. This is where my TP is. I'll just make sure that I'm on a very good break even down here. So when it gets here, I'll just see if anything can happen. I can probably go and check if there might be a divergence of maybe the 1 hour time frame or 2 hours, or maybe EU and GU, two of them, they're not showing something. I can start to now finally close. Or maybe if this respects and shows a confirmation on lower time frame, then I cannot decide to take it. But then I believe that, okay, anything that I'm taking from here might just be to eventually take out this low and come down, or it will just be a very small retracement, which is why it must show a valid confirmation. And then, so for me to use my normal entry model, this SL is still too low. I can just put my SL around there. But once I have my SL here, next thing I'm expecting is the market to open. It drives me back here, takes me in, and then I'm able to see a very good 1:7. That's approximately 1:8 for the new week. So that's for GU. Then for EU also, we have to check it and look at the same thing too. Euro USD. Yes. Yes. So this is Euro. This is EU too, and then this is the fair value that I reacted from. Now let's delete that. Now after deleting that, the next thing we need to do is go back to our line chart. Now on line chart, now you can see that there's a low right here. Now this is the low here. This is the low it formed to go back up. Now what I want to do is I want to now go back to 4 hours time frame. Now going back to 4 hours time, I can see the same QMR on 4 hours. If you remember what I talked about when I talked about markets coming down here, then going back up, and then when it comes, most times it doesn't come here. It uses this guy here. Some people will say it's a reclaimed order block because this was where market was supposed to buy eventually, but we took it out to grab liquidity and come back here. So we believe that when it's coming back, it doesn't reach there again. It just goes and comes back up. So the same thing is what we've seen here. And remember, this place, this one was marked all the way from daily time frame. So there's somehow there's a correlation around it. And then if you check very well, this one is even looking more sweet than GU. This is the liquidity right here. This can serve as your inducement. This can serve as your inducement liquidity. And you can see. Now remember, it was simple divergence and everything that we applied to get these two. So the two of them are definitely this thing bullish. So this one here, that place there can serve as your inducement, and then your entry at your QM, which is where we saw your entry at your QM. Then you can start to put your SL below here. But then putting your SL below there for me is too low. For me, it's too low. But then let's mark out the height. So this is a weekly high that I will be targeting. Then back to H4. Now putting your SL here for me is too low. This is where my entry is. So I don't want to take more than this thing 50, 20. I say 50, more than 20 pips. For this one, this is actually okay. And then we target this high right here. But then for conservative traders, probably you're trading your prop firm, and yes, you're not in for rush, or you don't want to, no, not even rush, you're not looking for too much error. You just want to like risk conservatively and then just wait for it. But then since I want to take the risk, why go with this? When I could make 1:7, I can't be looking for 1:4. You get, but then it's good to be conservative, so you can still drag your SL to be below here. So instead of 1:7, you're making about 1:4. It's still not bad. It's good money. You get, so this is it for the new week. So everything playing well and actually being smooth. This market is supposed to deliver. And then remember the same thing we also had on GU, a place that we're looking out for. Now this is also one place here too on EU to also watch out for. So when the market comes here, if I'm not watching out for this zone, then we're watching out for this one above here. So depending on what happens when market gets to these two guys, if it creates a valid thing on lower time frame, then I can use to take it. But then if it doesn't, and it might most likely just break it and go for this high, take out this high, create something valid again, and then we'll continue to buy up. So that is this is it, and then that is my view. And we can see that this whole movement was inside the fair value gap. So smart money knows what they are doing since we are going up from a valid fair value gap. So having talked about these two, now the next thing I want to look at is gold. So I want to look at gold. On gold, so I've also done my analysis already. So I've already done it. So I don't need to delete this one. Let me just go take another gold. And probably I take gold from Onanda. Let me take gold from Onanda. What me I use to analyze my own charts is what do you call it? Is this guy is Forex.com. That's what me I use. Remove 16 drawings. Yes, remove 16 drawings. Okay, yeah. So now back to it. Let's go from our daily time frame. Now, for gold, I don't use any divergence or anything. I just use my pure analysis. I just use my pure SMC or price action. Now this is last week's high, and then for me this is the previous low that we had. This was last week's low, and then now this week that just ended. So that one was 2 weeks ago. Now this one that is here is now last week's low. So now going down to 4 hours, because on daily time frame it's just lows and lows. I'm just marking up. I'm not really seeing anything. Now down to 4 hours, I can see something on my on my line chart, and I can see that okay, we have this V shape, right? So which is one support. We have this V shape, and then we also have this one. Then finally we have this one. Now these two are already looking more like inducements for me. They're looking more like trendline liquidities, but then they only get clear when we get to a very good time frame where we can see them very, very clearly. So now coming down to this 2 hours time frame is actually very clear from what we've marked out already, but then it's still not too clear. For me, I want to use the final, which is my main lower time frame. I still consider 2 hours as a higher distant time frame. So I want to still go back and use and use 1 hour, which is what I consider a lower time frame. Now, coming down from 1 hour, now we can see something. Now we can see that all the zones that we actually marked out from 4 hours, which is this one, this guy here, which is 1, and then this one was our low, and this one was our high. So now we can see that this particular one, this first one right here is looking valid for us to buy. So sorry, why did I delete it? Now this one right here now is looking valid for a good buy, and then we having this place here as our inducement. Now we can remember this place right here serves as our inducement liquidity. Now remember, if you're trading structured liquidity and POI, you must always make sure that you have your inducement liquidity shown. And then there are several entry models to enter the market. Now the first one is this. Now the first one is this particular one, whereby market comes, goes up, and then creates a liquidity grab. Then After creating that liquidity grab, it creates an order block right there and comes back here to create our inducement liquidity. Either take out the high or probably not take it out, then comes back here and then what? We push back up. So after doing this automatically, we had the liquidity grab right here, and then the order block respected with this our liquidity grab shown. And then now the second model is the one whereby there is no liquidity grab. All we have is just a simple market does this, goes up, comes down, creates an inducement, either takes this high or not, and then comes back to go back up from here. So the only difference between these two models is that one had a liquidity grab while the other one didn't have. But then what happened? One thing that was visible on the two of them is our inducement. And then when we now want to go ahead and use the QMR, which is the third entry model for me, is this. Now let's talk about now the third one for me is this particular one, making use of the QMR, where market does this. That's where we have a liquidity grab. Then it goes down, goes up, then creates when the only time I use it is when this inducement is way far from this guy. Now let's say the inducement number is supposed to be around here, but then it doesn't come to like this place. It's way far from this guy. So I now see it like around here. Seeing it around here automatically, okay, it goes there. I'm not looking for that other block anymore. I already believe that there's a few that it might not eventually get up here. So I just decide to go from this QM that is here. Then I continue to push. So eventually these two might now end up serving as a trend line liquidity that markets will eventually now later come back to sweep and then activate the other block. Or most times when it comes back, it won't use this other block again. Why it won't use the other block is very, very simple. Now why it won't use it is because we've already gone way far above into the 50%. Now what is 50%? Premium and discount. Now we've gone way far into it. Now for example, you can look at this one. This was the low and this was the high. Now for example, the QM2 was also inside this 50%, and then we've taken it. So since we've taken it, we've now taken out this one already. So automatically there's already a new key right here because this one is not the new liquidity grab, and then market is expected to now take this one and continue to push. So eventually, if he now decides to invalidate this guy, I don't see this guy holding most of the times, but sometimes he holds, but majority of the times he invalidates it and then go for a lower zone, or maybe go and create a new low and then get a liquidity grab for it, and we move. So for this one right here, this is the usage of the QM. Now, so this is the third one, usage of the QM. So now, having talked about all this, now let's now go back to what we have right here. Now you can see that this first zone right here that we marked from 4 hours, yeah. For me, some people might say, okay, yes, this one still has a liquidity grab now. See this small guy here. But well, some people might count it, fine. But for me, I don't count that one. I'm not saying it's valid. But then the move is still okay. Now, why is the move okay? The move is okay because why? Because it has qualified one of my entry model right here. No liquidity grab, but then there's an inducement inside here. So what I'm expecting to see is I want to see the market ride into this place. After it rides into it, so I want to see it come, probably take this guy back to this inducement, and then we come back into this place. Maybe we'll come back into this guy, and then we're able to go up. From there, we now start to go. So of course, I still want to see a confirmation from here. But then where is now that zone that even with no confirmation, I think I will just set my limit direct. But then I can still decide to wait for a confirmation now, which is this last one here. Remember, I just deleted the line. We got down on 2 from 4 hours now, which is this guy here. So now this guy here automatically has a liquidity grab. Now this was the visible liquidity grab that we had here. And you can see market grab liquidity for this guy right here. And then now these two now can serve as a trend line liquidity. If you go check for types of liquidity, you will see this one now can serve as a trend line liquidity. Now after this one serving as a trend line liquidity, then it means that our next push can now eventually come from this guy right here. And for me, this place that is down here, this place here serves as a protected low for that my point of interest. So what I want to do is I just want to do my SL to be below this guy right here, and then I aim for either this high. I can aim for this place right here because of this open SMC zone right here, which is where this whole scenario started from. But then me, I can still decide to avoid it. I can still decide to take it out because why am I want to take it out is because of the fact that okay, this thing has gone way deep into this 50%. So coming up, and I don't know what the kind of kidney will come with kind of pressure, but then I can still wait and see the confirmation around here. So once I see the confirmation, I will now know what to do. So the same thing comes in. I just mark the zone and then I put it in mind. But then apart from that one, I'm targeting this high, which is a 1:15 from here. And if market doesn't get to this guy, if he holds this guy, all I want to do is just see a confirmation from here. And then once I see my confirmation shown from there, then what do I do next? What I do is have my buy. I set my buy, target the same place with this place too also in mind. And by the time it has shown me my confirmation, my SL might probably reduce to like maybe 40 pips or something instead of using the like on almost 150 pips of before. Yeah, then you might just end up reducing to about 40 pips and then I just pick my movements. Also, a 1:15 or 1:17 is all sure. And if you're targeting usual 1:5 or 1 blah blah blah, you don't need to go for 1:15 because when I analyze 1:15 here, you can just get your 1:5 and then off you go. That's all. And you look for another entry and also ride again. That's staying profitable. It's better than looking for 1:1 million RR. Okay. So that is it for gold also. So this is what me I'm looking at. I'm heavily bullish for gold this week. But except maybe Donald Trump and his Iran brother want to do this, they want to do. Apart from that one, that is what me I'm looking at on the major pairs that I trade. And then for this, for BTC, yeah, BTC has actually like been doing shenanigans currently, although it has tapped into my main entry zone. But then after it tapped into, this was the signal I dropped for the people on the VR people. After it tapped into it, I expected that okay, it will come back to this guy to tap in again. Now, why did I expect that? Now, why I expected that is because there is a 15 minutes zone right here. And there's a fair value gap inside 15 minutes. Now, that fair value gap is what I'm looking to fill, which is why I have this entry, right? And now this first entry was gotten from the 4 hours order block combination with 2 hours. So me, I'm waiting for it to now come back here and then be able to tag me. This one is the inducement, and then I want to use FVG as my entry. I could literally use this QM right here, but then I want to use the FVG. Now the market has tapped, so it has tapped into that FVG already. So, but then let's wait and see. But for me, my last bus stop is this QM. If he gets to this QM, even if he wants to drag in, and it comes to this QM and it doesn't trigger it to push up, then no while it means that BTC is way bearish. But then this is a 4 hours key zone that has been activated already, which was bullish, and I'm looking for this as another entry zone which I've set. So let's see how it goes. If it hits SL, it's part of the game. I'll remove. But one thing to have in mind is there's a very strong, a lot of strong things will happen this new week. A lot of strong things will happen because Trump is not smiling, Iran is not smiling, all of them, they're ready for each other. So whatever we'll be doing this week, we have to like be very, very extremely careful so that they don't catch us in between and we don't get this thing caught off guard. So we have to make sure that we are very, 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 I repeat, very, very careful. So we can now talk to each other. People want to say anything, or maybe you have your own model too that you want me to. I want to talk about that kind of thing. That's all. And if you want us to look at any other pair, you can also talk too. Let's look at it together and know what we're expecting. Shey, una know the iron things. What do you say? Yeah. Sorry, boss. I know I didn't hear what you said. Or maybe you can just type on the group or something. Me, I did not hear anything. And then a peculiar alpha anything. And then boss Bami anything.
Yeah, great man. No question for now. No question for now.
Oh yeah now, yeah now, yeah now, yeah now. No wala, no wala, no wala. But I bet hope say you understand my this thing, outlook, and no issues there. And then you got any peer where you want me to look at together. If there's anyone, no wala.